Hi guys. Okay, I'm a hot mess this afternoon and I apologize. But I wanted to get this out. I have been trying since Saturday to get these videos recorded, and something always happens that distracts me or makes me stop the video. So regardless of what happens, unless it's the rapture, this video is going to keep going. And it may be a whole hot mess, just like me, but that's okay. So when we left off, we were talking about how things in our life or just in our daily, the way we see ourselves and the way we see others, and how that's kind of skewed and not accurate. And so I hope that's kind of opened your eyes a little bit and challenged your thinking to see those around you a little differently, and try and strive to see them more through God's eyes instead of our own shallow judgments. And tonight I want to talk about how we see ourselves. Because I think we're even harder on ourselves than we are on those around us. We'll typically give more grace when we don't know someone's story. And I know all my baggage. I know all my mistakes. And I am really quick to remind myself of every one of them. So in your notes, if you'll pull them out, I want you to very quickly, don't think about it, just very quickly write down the first 5 words you could use to describe yourself to yourself. Not that you would tell anyone else. This is just for you. I'll be transparent because you'll see in your notes my 5 words. I do not think I'm pretty. I am always been fat. I've never been attractive. I am very awkward around other people. I'm awkward around me. Everyone is better off without me, and no one really wants me here. I don't know why it's so much easier for us to believe all of those horrible negative things, and none of them are true. And here's a secret. I know none of them are true, but I still hear them. I still think them. I've been struggling with this. I will be 50 years old this month. I have been struggling with how I see me since I was 4, 5. That's my earliest memory of realizing that people around me did not see me, or I didn't think people around me saw me in a positive light or a positive way. But over this journey, over the last few years, I've learned that it really doesn't matter what I think. More importantly, it doesn't matter what you think. The only person I care about and how they think of me is God. Because his perspective, just like we learned last week, his perspective, his point of view is the only one that's true and accurate. And so I started looking through the Bible and through my spiritual timeline of where he told me who I was, what that looked like. And that's the image I want to walk in. And so the first one that he ever told me was Genesis 1:27. I'm Eve. I was created in his image. I am perfect. Doesn't matter what I've done. It doesn't matter what I've messed up. I am perfect. You are perfect. Exactly the way you are. even if you don't improve or get any better or any closer to him than you are today, he does not see you any way other than the way he created you. He has this crazy love relationship with you that we really don't know about. I think of God as this suitor, this old-timey suitor that's craving my attention. And he does these things throughout the day just to make me smile. You know, if you think about a suitor from, I don't know, the 1800s, okay? He would court the girl that he was interested in, the one that he wanted to propose to build this life with, that he was, wanted to convince her to like him. And that's what God does with us. He does these things all throughout your day just because he knows it's going to make you smile. So I want you to start looking for those things, those gifts, those presents. Instead of him knocking on your door with a bouquet of flowers, the sun shining. And today it was sprinkling. Those were kisses for me, directly from heaven. God was kissing me on my cheek and on my arm and on my hand. And he was giving these nice little kisses on my ear. You guys got to enjoy the cool weather and the overcast. But today was for me. And it was for you if you start looking at it like that. A lot of people, I put some notes. I'm not going to go through this word by word. You've got your notes. You can read it. These are just some things that how he sees you biblically. I do like where it talks about in the Bible how God knew you before you were formed in the womb. And I have this vision of God over each person before they're born. And he's standing over them and he's putting stuff into them. Whereas we think of him actually taking something and putting it in a recipe, he speaks it out. And just like when he spoke the stars into existence and the moon and the oceans, when he speaks gentleness into Eva, and he speaks kindness into Bree, and he speaks tenderness into Callie, guess what? This is the King declaring this is who you are. And there is nothing under heaven or earth that can change that. You can choose not to act that out, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's there. It is ingrained in the fiber of your being. And so I want you to, over the next couple of days, even if you can't do it right now, if you need time to soak and think about it, I want you to spend time with him if you haven't before. And I want you to ask him, who am I? How do you see me, God? And so right now, in the name of Jesus, I sanctify their imaginations. I cover their ears with their angels' wings, God. There is nothing that is not of you that shall penetrate their mind and their spirit. Thank you, God. So when you're praying and you're sitting there and you're listening, and suddenly you hear words like princess, treasured, jewel, adored, anything like that, If it's a positive word and it's a blessing, that's how God sees you. And he's whispering that into your spirit. If it's a negative word, right now, you just declare that you're going to sever it and you're not going to accept it, because that is not from God. He does not see you in a negative light. Take that in, ladies. Soak it up. So I told you that I started this spiritual timeline. And I want to tell you a little bit about that, because I want you to do that if you've never done that before. A lot of people will make a timeline of the negative things that happened in their life so they know, like, maybe where root issues are. And that's a good thing. It is. But I also want you to do one for God. If you're going to focus on the negative, you better focus on the positive. If you're going to focus on where Satan intervened in your life, you darn well better be looking for where God intervened. Because Satan may show up in a storm, but God steps out on the water and he calms it. Keep that in mind. So I want you to make a list, going back as far as you can think. Anytime God has ever spoke to you, that's an identity. It may not be who you specifically are, but it's him changing the course of your life. And so for me, going back, like, I was able, and I just started. I didn't try and go all the way back to where I was like 5 years old. But every time I had an encounter with God, I learned something from that. And so I made a list. And anytime I have a problem, I can go back to this list and I can say, nope, nope, no. I'm not a pain in the butt. I'm not worthless. I'm not a horrible mom. I'm not a horrible wife. I'm not a bad friend, because God said. It doesn't matter what I think. God said on August 2012 that I was created to walk on water, which means I can do anything. If I can step out and walk on water, there is nothing I can't do. October 2014. I get to walk in the cool of the day with my God. I was created to do that. I was created to spend time with him because he loves me that much. He put me on this earth just so I could spend time with him. Newsflash, you were too. He loves you so much. He orchestrated this entire universe to bless you and to love you. So I want you to start seeing yourself through God's eyes and not through yours, not through anyone else's, not through your mom's or your dad's or your husband's, but through his. Here's something else I want you to do. Write this down, make a note. If you have trouble with your identity like I do, I struggle with remembering those things. So if you've been in my house and you've been to my bathroom, you know this is true. Each time God has told me who I am, I write that around my mirror so that I'm in the center of it. And every morning when I get up and I look into this mirror, regardless of what I see, regardless of what yesterday looked like, I remember I'm Eve, I'm treasured, I'm glory, I'm created to walk on water, I'm a waterfall, I'm Mary Magdalene. I am these things. So yesterday I may have fell a little short. Here's my standard. This is how God sees me. This is what I want to measure up to. So I want you to do that. It's going to look crazy. Make it fun. Get some paint pens. Make it cute. I don't care. God doesn't care. As long as you remember who you are, you do what you have to do. That's what we're here to do. Build each other up. Okay, one last little thing I want you to try and do. Apply that to your husband. Make a list somewhere of how you think or how God sees your husband. When you have a bad day with him, what better way than to start praying over him in God's words, not yours? I'll be transparent for a moment. Daniel and I have had some really rough, rocky moments. We've been married, August will be 29 years. And there were a lot of them where I focused on how I saw him and how he didn't measure up to the man I wanted him to be, or he didn't measure up to the man I thought he was supposed to be. But then when I started looking at myself differently, and I started looking at him through God's eyes, it's totally different. I remember we were in the middle of an argument. And I love reminding him of this because, God's good. And when he's good through me, it's even better. But we were in the middle of an argument and it was bad. I used to be a screamer. He used to punch walls. I'm telling you, it was bad. And I reached up one night and I took my hand and I laid it on his chest. And I said, God, thank you for this husband. Thank you for who he's created to be. And I started speaking out who he was created to be, not how I saw him or how he was acting in the moment. Thank you for being the priest of my household. Thank you for being the rock and the provider for my family. Thank you for being the manifestation of your love in this house. I may not have thought it was true. I didn't believe a single word of it at the moment. But I continued to say those things day after day, every time we got into a fight. And soon, you know what? I couldn't see him the way I saw him anymore. I can only see him how God sees him. And it changed everything. Because even when he's having a bad day and he's falling short, then I can very quickly step in and remind him how God sees him. And it doesn't happen much anymore, but we all have those moments. So that's a little bit to work on. And I hope you guys will do that and take notes. I can't wait to hear how you do. I can't wait to hear if God is challenging you a little bit. And I hope you begin to see yourself the way God sees you, because I've been praying for you the way God sees you already. I love each of you so much, and I'm so blessed to call you my friends. Have an amazing day. I love you. Bye.